wanted to take you through and show you everything we did, how we kind of came up with this concept and idea of the layout, and our spend, mistakes that we made, and everything in between. We've separated the garden into 3 zones. First up, we have the dining area here right by the house, and in the centre of the garden we have the seating area. Then of course at the back we have the home office, which we finished a couple of months ago. First and foremost function of the garden, we wanted an area that we could socialise in, also somewhere that we could relax in by ourselves, and it also had to be dog friendly-ish. Winnie gets by, but I'm sure she'd probably prefer we still had the grass. So we completed the garden office in April, and then we just kind of had a blank canvas. We initially had the forward patio and then grass with a path leading up to the office. We obviously lost the back patio to the garden office, and we had to kind of figure out where we were going to put our furniture. So in the beginning we kind of toyed with the idea of having it on the forward patio with the dining table, and then it just kind of didn't make sense because we have that in to out living with our kind of living area in the kitchen with the sofa. It didn't make sense just putting a sofa next to it. So we started the design by figuring out where we wanted to put our furniture, taking into consideration the north facing garden that we're in. This centre spot gets the most light for most of the day, so it made sense to have it here. That actually meant that we had to rip up the path and the grass and put a patio in here, and we were really reluctant to do that in the beginning because we really wanted to keep the grass. And then we figured we had the builders coming in to kind of redesign our garden with us, and it just made sense to strip everything back and start again. So I started doing a few doodles on a to scale sketch of our garden layout, and we kind of came up with this 3 different patios in the garden, and then we kind of connected them with these pebbles and stepping stones, and then we brought the borders out as much as we possibly could, and that just kind of balanced out that concrete and hard landscaping to soft landscaping, which is obviously the plants. We got to work, and our builders worked so quickly. We did the full garden in a week, and in 4 days they dug the foundations, filled it with concrete, put new fences in, and laid the new patios. And then Freddie and I got to planting. Actually, I've kind of waited a while to post this because I really wanted everything to bloom, because it still looked very sparse the week we finished, but 2 months on it is a lovely little Mediterranean paradise in our Kingston garden. I'm going to take you through a few details in the garden and show you what I love. This is the forward patio of our garden. We actually put this in when we finished our house build last year, and that's why it's ever so slightly different to the other 2 patios in the garden. And I always wanted the dining table to be here because I love that whenever it is a nice day we always eat dinner out here, and we can open the doors and we can cook and then just bring the food out and serve, and it's so lovely and sociable, and it's just my favourite thing to eat outside on a nice summer's day. So this patio works really well for this, and we also managed to get the cushion storage for our furniture here as well, and I just picked a colour that was kind of just blending into the background, so it is almost like you don't really notice it, and that was my intention. So I'm really happy with this, and it fits all the cushions from the sofa in very easily. Then coming into the seating area of the garden, we designed the garden around our furniture, and we did a 3 metre by 3 metre patio which fits this corner sofa and chair perfectly. This is the West Elm Portland range, and I love it. Like I said, it's super hard wearing. As you can see, it's 2 years old and it's been outside for 2 years, and it is not even slightly flawed. The quality is incredible, and I think it's quite different to a lot of garden furniture on the market. It's really solid and structural, but it's really simple, clean lines at the same time, and I just really like that balance. And it works perfectly in that Mediterranean garden look that I was going for. Now we have the seating area in the centre of the garden. We brought the borders out as much as we could around it so that you kind of feel like you're in this like protected canopy area. So whilst I mentioned before that this gets the most sun, it also is really shaded with all the trees, and we've got this beautiful Acer tree coming over from our neighbours, and it forms this beautiful canopy just where we can sit. And then obviously we have the palm as well, which is my favourite. That has grown so much in the 3 years that we've lived here, so it's doing very well. So some of the plants that I picked in and around the seating area were These verbenas are just my absolute favourite. I love how tall and graceful and beautiful they are, and they last pretty much all summer. What I've done is I put them more towards the back of the border, so I've gone in this kind of like height gradient, starting with tall things at the back, and then we come forward to the edge of the border where we've got more low-lying succulents and daisies and some lavender, and all really bee and butterfly friendly plants to encourage the insects to come into our garden. We've also gone for a few evergreen plants. We've got the gaura here, also got this beautiful jasmine tumbling over the fence, and then of course potted palms, they are evergreen, and then nandina, and we've got the white magnolia and eucalyptus as well. This patio, kind of when we first designed it, was just a stepping stone into the office. However, it now is where we always have our barbecues, so we hadn't really planned on that, where the barbecue would go in the summer, and Freddie's favourite place is here. So that works out quite nicely, and we just kind of keep the barbecue tucked away behind this plant here. These stones I actually picked because I thought they looked so lovely against the rustic wood scaffolding boards of the garden office, and then you've got a really modern, simple tile next to it, and I just love that contrast. This obviously goes into the office. Hey Fred! Freddie's in the office. Our garden is 40 foot long, so it's not big but it's not small, and I just think that really impressed that we managed to get 3 different zones within the garden that all function in their own way, and nothing feels overcrowded. It's just perfect. So mistakes that we made. First of all, never designed a garden before, so this was our first shot at it, and whilst I'm so proud of how it's turned out, we did make a few errors, and I think that other people don't tend to notice them, but you know when it's your own thing, you always do. So I think the colour coordination of the different greys on the patio don't really work together, and we were so time pressed for starting the job. The builders, Ginger Dog, who did our house, were available for 1 week, and we had a day's notice to get it done, and we just wanted to get it done ASAP. So I ordered the tiles and stones online, and I actually didn't know what they looked like. I just had to kind of guess from pictures, and it is like probably the worst thing you can do. Always order samples and always see in real life to get a feeling for them, and a real life colour, like true representation of their colour. So I think that the grey of the pebbles is too cool versus the warmth of the grey on our original patio and also on the modern slabs. What I would also say about the modern slabs, even though I love them, is that they're very hard to keep clean, and when it's not that rustic, they show up the dirt so much. There's like no pattern in them, and of course when he goes in the borders day in day out and drags mud over them, so it's kind of like a constant battle to keep them clean. I don't want a high maintenance garden. We did this by removing the grass to keep this a low maintenance garden. That's one slight regret there, and I wish I'd maybe had a little bit more time to kind of really consider the colours of the stones. However, it is probably the only thing I think I'd change, so really happy with that. Spend on it, we did try and just keep it as cost friendly as we could because we'd just finished the garden office, and we had a budget of 5,000 and we spent 6, and that broken down was our builders charging us for labour and materials of the concrete, and then we spent a further 1.5 on patio, slabs, tiles, pebbles, fences, and then we spent 500 on plants because plants add up. Whilst it felt like a big spend at the time, I am so impressed with how it's turned out for the money we spent. Really happy with it. So just trying to have that balance of the modern but also a little bit of rustic. We have our flower box that Freddie and I made when I did that Bosch job, and I just love how it turned out. So we filled it with all our bee and butterfly friendly plants, and they've so bloomed. Look at this fennel. It's just overgrowing, and it's creating a kind of like wall between the seating area and the office area. So nice. And then also we've got the bee box, which is tucked away behind the sofa. This is for our friendly visitors here. I read somewhere that you should always have a 60-40 ratio of 60 hard landscaping, 40% soft landscaping. We try to work towards that. I think it's probably more like 70% hard landscaping in here versus 30% soft, but we've tried to kind of bulk it out by putting plants in pots on the patios and obviously like our trough, our flower trough. Overall, we are so pleased with it. It really like signifies the end of all the housework and the build and everything. It's like totally done, and we're just now here to enjoy and live our lives. So that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back next time with another video. If you have any questions about anything, then just pop them in the comments and I will get back to you. Bye.